Hi, I'm Dan, and I want to tell a story about Einstein. So 100 years ago, Einstein came up with the general theory of relativity, and this was the first time anyone really understood how gravity works. And Einstein was thinking about this, and he said, wait a second, if there's a lot of stuff in the universe, and there's gravity, then eventually gravity is going to pull in all this stuff, and the universe will collapse. And to Einstein, this was really bad. Einstein had some deep intuition about how the universe should work, and he thought it should be static, it shouldn't be changing. So he did this thing that was very sneaky. In one of his equations, he stuck in this fudge factor, what's now called the cosmological constant. And it basically acted as an anti-gravity, basically something that could be repulsive and counterbalance the gravity that would pull everything in. This would make sure that the universe would not collapse in on itself. But he made this up. Now, a little while later, some scientists were looking at if the universe is static or not, and they found that actually the universe is expanding. And some other scientists went back to Einstein's equations, and they said, wait a second, what's that term? And Einstein was caught totally red-handed, and he basically said something of the sort, this is the biggest blunder I've made of my entire life. It was quite embarrassing for Einstein. Now, cut to 20 years ago, and there are two teams of astronomers, and they're looking at supernovae, these exploding stars, some of the biggest explosions in the entire universe that you can see extremely far away. And the supernovae allow you to get glimpses of how big the universe is at different ages of the universe. They allow you to trace kind of the growth cycle of the universe. And when they did this, they found that the universe is not just expanding, it's expanding faster and faster. It's accelerating in its expansion. And they were able to show that there's this, what we now call dark energy, this substance that makes up 70% of the universe that acts like an anti-gravity. Now, this is a giant mystery. It's 70% of the universe, and we don't know what it is. Now, the best explanation for this dark energy is actually what Einstein put into his equations 100 years ago that he then said was the biggest mistake he made in his entire life. So it turns out the biggest mistake Einstein made in his entire life is saying he made the biggest mistake in his entire life. Now, unfortunately, no one can go back now and say, wait a second, Einstein, what did you mean by that thing that you stuck in there that you later felt bad about? What we can do now, and this is what I work on, is we can measure thousands and thousands of these supernovae and try to get a very detailed history of how the universe is expanding. And the hope is that when we do this, we can learn a little bit more about what this dark energy is and what this fudge factor should have been. Thank you.